What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Justified City Primeval, Episode 3, Backstabbers. So it seems like, hopefully, fingers crossed, the worst thing about the show is no longer on the show. I hope so. She might come back, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, Willa is still just the only complaint I have, really. Honest, she really is the only complaint that I have. And the more I thought about it, it's not even so much just how bad her acting is. The character as well is just that typical rebellious teenager that, quote, wants to have a relationship with their parent while not understanding the reality of the situation. You know, it's that whole, oh, they think they know better than their parent, and oh, he's treating her so bad because he won't spend time with her. I mean, look at the real world. You've got a mass murderer on the loose who knows who you are, wants to hurt your dad. He might come after you. Look at reality, kid. This is reality. You could die if you stay there. The best option is for him to send you away so that way he doesn't have to worry about you. Because if he doesn't have to worry about you, he can do his job better. And when he does his job better, it's going to get wrapped up quicker. That's just the face of it. But of course, we have to have this whole like, oh, Raylan, why do you gotta treat her so bad, man? Play that sad music as she walks away crying. Don't you just feel so bad for... No, I don't! She's a little brat, as most of these characters are. They're written this way. She's a little brat that doesn't understand how the world works. She thinks she does. And honestly, that could go for a lot of the younger generation. They think they understand how the world should work without really understanding how the world works. Everything should just be hunky-dory and happy all the time, guys. We can totally figure this out. Yeah, okay, sure, because we live in an ideal world where people that want to take advantage of... Sorry, I'm getting way sidetracked. But anyways, on to the rest of it, which is good stuff. So the stuff with Clement, we're finally getting a sense of what he's trying to do with this guy that Sandy's talking to. Kind of figured he was a mark to be targeted for his money. But it's interesting to find out that the guy doesn't have any cash on him at all. Because that's kind of what he was banking on. So now I'm feeling like we're going to see possibly some bigger plot come into it. Because Sandy was at one point talking about how Albanians have this whole like family thing. So, you know, I kill your brother, you know, you come for me, kill me, and then my dad comes for you. It sounds like this could turn into a big drama where if he kills this guy, what's his name? It's like Skindle or something like that. I don't know. But assuming that he's going to kill him, that's going to bring in probably his family into the mix. And they're probably going to have a lot of guys and guns, which is going to turn it into a bit of a bloodbath. Now, granted, it doesn't seem like Clement really has much going for him as far as power, money, men. So it feels like this should not be much of a battle, but I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. Maybe somehow he frames somebody else. Maybe one of the cops. He frames them, and so the Albanians start going after the cops. Possibly, I don't know. But that feels like it's going to play into this season and possibly give us a bigger battle than just Raylan versus this one guy who happens to have a few people in his pocket. But as far as the people in his pocket, we do get to see a little bit more how Sweetie, I think it's showing he's not this hardened criminal. He does want to be done being used by Clement. So it's interesting to see he's trying to find a way out. You know, he's trying to find a way out from under Clement's thumb. And of course, we see Carolyn would love that as well because she doesn't like him. And I almost kind of feel like that one scene with her and Raylan, it's kind of showing the two sort of different ideologies, you know, where she does want Raylan, I think, to succeed in getting him, but she doesn't want him to resort to his old methods, you know, that whole just shooting him and being done with it type of thing, or, you know, going outside of the law to get his man type of thing. So it's interesting to see those competing ideologies, and I do think we might see a little bit more of that as the season goes on. I don't know how much of that we're going to get, because I kind of felt like Raylan left a bit of that in the past at the end of Justified, the original series, mainly because it was more personal for him. But since this guy did make it a little bit personal, I guess I could see how they could bring it back in. I just don't want a repeating thing where, oh, you've got this darkness inside of you, and you just shoot whoever and blah 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 and all of that stuff. I don't really want to see that repeating storyline done again. But I wouldn't mind seeing, I guess, the different ideologies where if this guy does start to, I guess, get outside the confines of the law, because again, he has that little book that has a lot of the cops' dirty little secrets in it. There's a chance that maybe that thought process of going outside of the law to get the man might come into play at some point if the law is kind of having its hands tied. So there's just something to think about going forward. What else? The scene with Raylan and Maureen, I think her name is. I did really like that scene because it's really funny how she's sitting there and she's swearing up a storm, dropping F-bombs, and I'm just sitting there thinking, God, like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, she could have been telling this funny little story about this dream that she had and all of this stuff, and it could have been kind of interesting, but the way she's telling it, I'm just instantly kind of tuning out because, again, she's just swearing every other word, and I'm sitting here going, this is not good writing. This is just, hey, let's just have her talk as if anybody with with 5 words on the repertoire knows how to talk. And so she's just going off, and at the end of all of it, what do you think that means? You swear a lot. That line just absolutely got me, because I guess what it affirmed for me is that the writing is not necessarily lazy. It's not like they're just sitting there writing F words in every other word, and it's just, yeah, just go ahead and swear as much as you want. It's not so much of that. I think they're showing that the people in Detroit, maybe this is just how these people talk. This little group of people. It's not the same as how they talked back in Harlan, So that maybe that's what they're trying to show. Because I mean, Raylan, I think he's only dropped that one F word whenever he beat the shit out of Clement. So maybe that's kind of showing the differentiation of, down in Harlan they talk with a lot of words. They use a lot of words to get to the point, whereas here they just sort of they use the all of the swear words for the crutch because it makes them sound tougher in their minds, I guess. That's just something I'm not really sure if that's what they're going for, but it's just something that popped into my mind as I was watching it and that scene came on. So who knows? But outside of that, I mean, everything else is just more moving plot forward. Obviously, Raylan figures out what's going on. The 2 other cops, dang it, I want to say Wilson, but I don't think that's it. And then I think Burl is the other cop. Dang it, I had it. I had at least one of their names. I'm not even sure if Maureen's right, if I'm being honest. I'm going to get them, though. I'm very, very close to getting all the names down after almost halfway through the season. But yeah, them getting hit by the car in the intersection, it's one of those things where, I mean, I get it. They want to show that this guy is smart. I do like that scene, but the problem is the 2 cops, you think they would have a little bit more of a brain and be like, don't just sit there. Don't just sit there, because then obviously he knows what you're doing. And then whenever he flies through the light, don't just chase after him without looking to see if anybody's coming first. So it does kind of show a little bit of naivete on their parts, more so than it shows, oh, this guy's really good. I feel like it's just showing these guys are not that smart, unfortunately. But anyways, with all that being said, though, that's it for this first episode of these 2. So on to the next one. I'll see you there. And now episode 4, Kokomo. So this one was really good. We finally got to see Raylan being Raylan again. And most of that is because we finally got the introduction of the Albanian mob, which I feel like that's where Raylan is at his best, because essentially you have a bunch of goons just running around, handling the business, trying to get to Clement and all of that. And they provide good enemies for Raylan to face and easily take down in a badass way. So that way the show doesn't end too soon. Because that was one of my fears, is that it would just be Raylan and Clement going head to head the entire season. And that's just not as fun, because it would almost be like if it were just Raylan and Boyd going head to head. But it was never just that. It was Raylan versus Boyd, but also you've got these other guys that are trying to do their own thing. If it was just Raylan versus Boyd, it would have been over way too quickly. But because there's other distractions, because there's other things going on that involve innocent people, it keeps Raylan from being able to take down Clement in the easy way that he probably would if he was able to focus all his attention there. So, yeah, I think the Albanian mob is a good introduction for them. On top of that, we do get to see quite a bit of what they're capable of whenever they're trying to track down Sandy, looking up her address, threatening the one guy at the casino to drop him onto the pavement. Some really good scenes in there. I think that scene, though, probably took the cake for me solely because the editing was really good. You got the one guy, you know they're going to attack him on the roof, so you're just kind of waiting for that moment. And so I just love the fact that we didn't really get much of a kidnapping. It was just, you see the guy coming up with a bag. Over his head, he's already in the back of the car being flung around as they're driving up there. And then they take him out and suddenly he's hanging over the side of the building. I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. So, yeah, the Albanian mob, though, I think is going to probably start coming after Raylan, or the Detroit police maybe, since Brill, I think his name is, shot one of them. Granted, it was in self-defense, but of course I don't think the Albanian mob really cares about that. And granted, we don't know that it was actually in self-defense too. So, I don't know. I feel like that's going to maybe draw Raylan's attention away a little bit more. So that way, again, Clement can kind of have some time to do his own thing, whatever he's planning to do. But on that whole story, it's kind of interesting to see how it's unfolding. Because we finally see Sweetie was fully ready to go and turn himself in if he needed to, essentially to get Clement off of their backs, because he was sick of it. But then as soon as Clement came in with an offer that he couldn't refuse, that's the moment where we finally see he seems to be a good person for the most part. But there is a price for him. There is a way to get him to give in to whatever the plan is, to get him to work with somebody like Clement again, even though he doesn't trust him, even though he thinks he's chaos like he was talking about. We see he has a price. And this little black book that the judge had, that's his price. What I also like is that he offers this to Carolyn. We see she is very firm in how she does things. Yes, she's a defense attorney. She defends killers. She understands what she's doing, but it's her job. And in her mind, even though what she's doing is defending killers, they still deserve to be defended. They're still human beings. They're still citizens in the U.S., so they have the right to a defense. So she's very much a by-the-law type of person. So whenever he offered this to her, all I could think is, she's not going to take it. She wants to be a judge. We saw that one scene with her. It was kind of a small little scene, but it clearly sets up for, we see she wants to be a judge. Sweetie is offering her that possibility. With the book that Clement has, if she just works with them, she will have that. But because she is so gung-ho in her belief of the law is the way to do it, you have to follow the law, you have to do everything by the law, by the book, she's not going to take that deal. She wants to become a judge on her own terms, by the book, in the set of rules that are presented to her. She wants to do it that way. So I really like the fact that they had her stick to her guns, because if she didn't, it would really taint her whole character. Because she's sitting here, she's asking Raylan to try to prove that he's guilty, not because that she's trying to say he's not guilty, but because she does want Clement to be put away, but she wants to do it correctly. She wants to do it by the book. So I'm glad that they didn't make her go back on her word there. So it was a good choice for the writers. But yeah, I like her and Raylan's whole thing that they've got going on. It's understandable. They both kind of counterbalance each other a little bit. It's one of those opposites attract in a way. So he's a lawman who maybe likes to work outside the law sometimes, maybe bends the rules occasionally, never breaks them, but he could be a little rough with people. And she is a lawyer who, obviously, she is not necessarily always on the side of the correct person or the innocent person, but she is very by the law. She doesn't like it even when it gets bent a little bit. So it's an interesting dichotomy that I feel like they're exploring well. And, well, in the long run, I don't see this as a romance that will bloom, because unfortunately the whole opposites attract thing, it works occasionally, but when you have philosophical beliefs, it can cause that kind of, bickering and bantering that can be flirty sometimes. But when it comes down to it, it's not going to last for that long. Because, I mean, if you disagree on a fundamental level, eventually you're going to hit that point where everything becomes an argument because you're always disagreeing on stuff. So I don't think this is a great romance, but I think it's fun and it's cute for what it is. But it's purely based on attraction, and that's basically it. Like, it's just attraction. There's no deeper connection there, I don't think. I'm trying to remember. There are a couple other things. Oh, the roommate or housemate, landlord, Sandy's Mina, is that her name? I think, whatever she was to Sandy, her performance was kind of interesting. Because at first I thought they were doing like this whole, maybe there's something else to her. Because she was basically just like staring him down. But then I guess she just didn't believe that they were really going to hurt her. Because it wasn't until the pliers came out that suddenly she actually showed some fear. And I don't know, it felt kind of weird. And I thought they were implying that maybe she's kind of a dangerous person too. Or maybe that's just where they live is such a dangerous place that she's used to just having to stand up for herself, to where, oh, two guys break in? Whatever. Screw you. But then once the pliers come out and actual threats are made, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, crap, I'm actually going to get hurt here. So, but, I mean, it was just one of those weird things where I don't know if she's going to come back at all. I don't know if she's going to play a bigger part. But it was kind of funny, but also kind of weird at the same time with her. Because there were just a few moments where, again, you've got her acting all brave. You've got her acting like she's not worried about anything. And then all of a sudden she is scared and she's calling Sandy. And then they cut, like, for some reason she's on the phone with Sandy. And they just have this long, drawn-out thing where Clement is essentially ordering his steak again because they didn't get it right. And I'm just like, what? What are we doing here? Why are we spending so much time on listening to him ordering his steak again and how he wants... Like, I know it's trying to show that he's one of those assholes that, like, hey, you get my order right. This is how I want it. And if you don't do it, we're going to do it again. That whole thing. But I think we already knew that. So I guess this was supposed to be a scene played up for laughs. But it wasn't... I didn't find it funny. It felt very weird and awkward and drawn out to me. So I don't know, the whole thing with her roommate, it was just kind of odd. I feel like there's one other thing, but it's not coming to me at the moment. Maybe if it comes to me later, I'll talk about it in another episode. But yeah, I mean, so far, so good. We're halfway through this season, and I mean, I'm excited to see where it's going next. I feel like the next couple episodes may be more about Raylan having to take on the Albanian mob while trying to go get Clement as well, which will probably set up then once they finally find a way to stop the Albanian mob, however they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to like go and kill them all, but I don't know, maybe they'll get themselves killed doing something stupid. But I feel like the last two episodes will likely be focused in on, okay, we finally have a route to go get Clement and take him in, and that'll be the focus there. So just my prediction. We'll see what they actually do with it, but I'm excited. Hope you guys are too. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these two episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Justified City Primeval reviews. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.